Today, we're going to unpack a pretty wild story of digital cat and mouse. We're going to look at how the very tools that are built to protect us online are being twisted into a nearly perfect disguise for cyber attackers.
So, let me just ask you something. You're browsing the web, minding your own business, and then, bam, you hit a brick wall. A message pops up that just stops you dead in your tracks.
I am willing to bet you have seen this exact message or something really close to it. It's from Cloudflare, and they basically act as a digital bouncer for a massive chunk of the internet, keeping websites safe. They're the good guys, the shield. But what if that shield could be used for something else?
So how does it work? Well, in a nutshell, Cloudflare sits right between you and the website you want to visit. It checks out all the traffic, and it filters out the bad stuff. Hackers, bots, all of that, before it can do any damage. It's a really critical piece of our modern internet security.
And this is where our story gets really interesting. For most websites, Cloudflare is a shield. But what happens when some really clever attackers figure out how to wear that shield like an invisibility cloak?
Well, it turns out security researchers have spotted a new threat group, and they're calling them UAT-10027. They've been active since at least late 2023, and their methods are incredibly sneaky. But what really makes this group stand out is who they're going after.
See, this isn't random. They are zeroing in on critical sectors here in the US. We're talking universities and healthcare facilities, including places that provide elderly care. These places are often seen as soft targets. They're full of sensitive data, but they don't always have the huge cybersecurity budgets of, say, a big bank. The stakes are just so high, so we've got to understand exactly how they're pulling this off.
Okay, let's break down the anatomy of this attack and its centerpiece, a piece of malware called Dohdoor. It's not a one-shot deal, it's a chain of events, and every single step is designed to get them deeper and deeper into a network without anyone noticing.
It all starts with a classic move, a phishing email. Somebody clicks a link they shouldn't have, and that kicks off a script. That script then reaches out and downloads the real weapon, a malicious file called a DLL. But they don't just run it out in the open. Oh no. They hide it using this clever trick called sideloading, and that's what gets them their backdoor. Once they're in, the sky's the limit. They can install even more powerful tools.
So what on earth is DLL sideloading? Okay, think of it like this. Imagine a program needs to grab a specific tool from its toolbox to work properly. The attackers sneak in and they swap the real tool with a malicious one that looks exactly the same. The program goes to its toolbox, grabs the fake tool, and has no idea anything is wrong. And just like that, the malware is up and running, disguised as a trusted application.
All right, so they're inside the network. That's bad enough, right? But now comes the truly brilliant part of this whole thing. How they manage to stay completely invisible, even when there are sophisticated security tools looking for them.
I mean, how do they operate right under the noses of security teams? Well, they use this powerful 1-2 punch of evasion techniques.
First up, and this is the cloak we were talking about, all the malware's phone-home communications, all the data it's sending back to the attackers, is routed through Cloudflare's own servers. To any security tool watching the network, it just looks like normal, safe web traffic. Nothing to see here. And they pull this off using a very specific protocol. It's called DNS over HTTPS, or DO. You know how your computer looks up a website's address in the internet's phone book? DO encrypts that whole process. It's like sending a secret message inside a plain, sealed envelope. The security guard at the post office, your network firewall, sees the normal-looking envelope and just waves it through, with no clue what's actually being said inside.
But hiding their network traffic isn't enough. I mean, what about the security software that's actually running on the infected computer? The EDR solutions designed to catch this stuff. Well, the malware has a trick for that too. It just blinds them.
It's a technique called unhooking. Think of your EDR software like a set of security cameras that are hooked into the computer's operating system, watching everything that happens. This malware is smart enough to basically walk into the room and unplug all those cameras before it starts its dirty work. The security software is still running, but it's completely blind to what the malware is doing.
So we have this really sophisticated attack, it's hitting sensitive targets, and it's using these advanced techniques to stay hidden. The final question, of course, is, who is UAT-10027? Now, figuring out who's behind a cyber attack is incredibly hard. It's like trying to find a single fingerprint at a chaotic crime scene. But in this case, the clues are pointing towards a very well-known,
and very dangerous state-sponsored suspect.
And this right here shows you the whole puzzle. Researchers found technical overlaps between the Dohdoor malware and another tool called Loader. And Loader is a known weapon of the infamous Lazarus group from North Korea. But then you look at the targets. Lazarus usually hits cryptocurrency exchanges, defense companies. UAT-10027 is hitting schools and hospitals. So the what fits, but the who and the why, they just don't quite match up.
Just as Cisco Talos points out, this difference in targets makes it really hard to say for sure it's them. But to make things even more complicated, other hacking groups from North Korea have been known to attack these exact sectors, so the mystery just deepens. Is this Lazarus trying something new, a splinter group, or someone else entirely?
So what are the big takeaways from all this? First, and this is a big one, the tools we trust for security can absolutely be used as offensive weapons. Second, attackers are using heavy-duty encryption to make their malicious traffic look totally normal. Third, malware is getting smarter. It can actively blind the very security software that's supposed to stop it. And finally, figuring out who done it is almost never a simple answer.
And all of this leaves us with a pretty heavy question. This kind of attack abuses the very idea of trust. We trust Cloudflare. We trust encrypted traffic. We trust our security software. So, if attackers can now hide inside the very things we rely on to keep us safe, what does that mean for the future of cybersecurity? It's a tough challenge and something we all really need to think about. Thanks for joining me.